All right, good evening. Welcome to the Board of Health meeting, Monday, September 9th, 2013. It is now 6:05 p.m. and I'd like to call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is to review and add or subtract any items. Andy, do we need to add or subtract?
We played meeting room shuffle in order to get this room.
Okay.
Ellen very generously offered to move her meeting into the selectmen's meeting room. Hers is a very short meeting, but if she gets preempted by the selectmen,
Then we...
she might come over here, and I told her we would recess because she says she wouldn't need it for more than 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay.
So we may have to take a break when she,
Okay.
if she gets preempted from the selectmen's room.
Okay.
But she feels she can get everything done in plenty of time for the selectmen to meet without interruption.
Okay.
Right. Health assessment, I put the table on it. I just want to make a comment when we get to it. So, that was
Just
good.
under correspondence, I have two questions on two of the correspondence, so I just want to make sure, put it on your notes in case I forget when we get down there.
Okay.
Okay. Anything you'd like to add?
No.
You're good. Okay. All right, approval of bill schedule. We have a bill schedule here. MHOA, MIHA, MHOA again, Petty Cash, Emergency Medical Products, and Masterman's. So let's see, MHOA is membership.
The two memberships on the MHOA, mine and Darlene's.
Membership
Next.
for the MIHA.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Membership for MIHA.
The next meeting will probably have a reimbursement for the cost of the conference, unless we can find alternative funds to pay for it. The annual Mahoa conference.
So this one right here, the medical marijuana.
Adam has asked me to stay on top of the medical marijuana, find out what the state's doing with it.
Is that one on here? Didn't see it.
Yes.
Yes.
What's it?
It's
what?
under an MHOA one.
Oh, it's one of the MHO. Oh, okay. You have the. Okay, I see that one. Fine. And then we have that's petty cash. 7270 school kids healthcare EMP, emergency medical products. Oh, that's
Our
shops containers. And then this one is Masterman's, so that must be coveralls.
We ordered some Tyvek suits. We have found a couple of hoarding situations, a couple of filth situations that when we walk into we're getting a little bit nervous because they just come in regularly. So we ordered some Tyvek suits for our own protection.
Cool. Do they come in sizes or they just one size fit all?
I just bought Monster because I like laughing at Darlene because she's so small.
No, I need some, so I didn't know what sizes were. So.
Masterman had a pretty good price on them.
Okay.
So,
Is that the price per unit?
for what are we on? Masterman
$1.82.
Per
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 coverall.
suit?
per suit.
So you got 25 of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
I think
Not
I'm
bad.
gonna go shopping there.
No kidding.
Motion to approve.
Yeah, motion to approve. You're making that motion?
Yeah.
A second?
All right.
All right.
We have an identity crisis going on?
Yeah, I just got lost there. Okay. Yes. Good. All right. We also have approval of minutes. And the minutes were from 8/7/2013. I had no questions, concerns, no omissions.
I only had one question. Mr. Erickson came in for the hearing last meeting.
Hearing request by Leonard Erickson for approval. Yep.
Was it his son and daughter-in-law or daughter and son-in-law? I don't know why I had it in my mind that it was his son and his family that was living there.
I think you're right. I remember. I thought he said it was his son and daughter-in-law.
Well, I'll research it. I'll go back to the meeting
Okay, and
see what
that
it was.
was my only thought. Otherwise,
So if we
Actually, we still have their written request,
Okay.
and we'll refer to that. I'll
We'll
flip that.
correct that
can do you want to put a motion that if that is
pending that correction.
pending that if it has to be corrected, then we have to vote on it again, or do we just?
As long as you recognize that there may be a flaw in the order,
Yeah.
and we just You can
Are
approve
you
it
okay with that if we approve or just the changing if it needs to be?
Yeah.
with appropriate amendments, if you will,
Okay.
So,
with the appropriate amendment as stated.
All right.
I'll make that motion.
I second the motion. Vote.
Aye.
Yeah, aye. Okay, it passes 2-0. All right, next on the agenda. We got 5 minutes till the hearing, so what do you want to touch on first? You got something quick?
I think I can go through the SHOPS program.
Okay.
We received a $500 grant from the state to improve our SHOPS collection program. We identified the weakness of the program is that the actual drop boxes, or the boxes you drop in the kiosk, are not appropriate. So to date, we have spent $270 on two different size take-home containers. We have the 1 quart and we have what is essentially a 2 quart. It's like 2.2. Now that we've got the supplies in, we have to look towards. We have $230 left over from that account. We've got to look towards advertising this.
Okay.
Sat down with Darlene and Paula and we discussed the most beneficial way that we thought people would actually take the time to read something. I know last meeting we were talking about a 3-part form, a trifold. We batted it back and forth and we thought about a single poster about this size, postcard. We can get 300 of these printed for $170. We can get at Staples one of those clear plastic things that these will fit into that we can tack right to the side of the SHOPS box, and we can put some of them at the counter at CVS also.
Okay.
What this does is it makes it a whole lot easier to fill up the card than it does a 3-part form. And it will leave us $60 at the end, less than $60 of the 500 to just address any shortcomings we find thereafter.
Okay.
I've taken a couple pictures. I've taken opportunities, stuck my hand in that box, hoping that no sharps would be poking up at me,
Yeah.
and took pictures of what's in the box. Repeatedly, it comes out as chlorine peanut butter jars. So I'm going to take that as a baseline, and once we get this program up, running, and advertised, and run it for probably 3 months, I'll take some more pictures and try to get an approximate more compliance. So, percentage of compliance as compared to prior to this.
Okay.
And that way in December, hopefully we'll be able to figure out what we're going to put on this. Obviously one side is going to advertise the boxes, the other side will probably mention the code that requires them, and maybe a couple other beneficial things.
Okay.
And also we might use the card to throw on there a blurb about the prescription take back. That
That's a good idea.
hopefully we'll have up and running within the month. All right, so $170 for this will leave us about $60, and I think that program will be up running and hands-free again.
Okay. Now, is that a rotating account?
No,
That
that was
if we sell, that we can get more?
Oh yes, the
That's
account
what
for
I'm
the boxes is
Yeah,
rotating.
the boxes. So once we buy those, once people pay for them,
Yep.
we're gonna use that money to purchase more, so we have a continuous supply.
Correct, and what
Okay.
we'll do is we will keep inventory of what goes out the door fastest, and we'll just replace.
Yeah.
I suspect the larger ones are going to go out fast. We're going to sell them for $1 difference.
Yeah.
The small ones will be $3 for the quart size. Very good for a diabetic who's not insulin dependent, somebody who's just got to use the Lancets.
Yep.
One of those little boxes will last them 3 years if you're just using Lancets. But if you start to get into being insulin dependent or other needle dependent,
Yeah.
it might fill up a little bit fast. So hopefully we'll sell an even amount of them, but we'll try to keep track of how many we're selling of each, and those will be the ones we'll put the concentration on.
Okay. I got a minute and a half. Anything else on the first thing you can talk about? The health
No.
assessment table there?
We can talk about Christmas gifts if you want, but
Nothing else? No, the health assessment, you tabled it, but you said,
I can. The health assessment I can do in a minute and a half.
all right.
Got an email today from Ryan. His project. I wanted to let you know that I will be presenting the assessment I did this summer at the ASEE Region 6 Professional Development Conference in Myrtle Beach. He submitted the abstract of the work, and his was accepted as something to present.
Okay.
So I was very, very happy for him because of that. I wrote back trying to find out if it was a competitive thing.
Yep.
It'd be nice if he actually, if it was competitive and he won. But either way, I think he did a decent job for what it was. I don't think it's a complete report. I think it's more of a general concerns of Auburn rather than specifically public health concerns of Auburn. But I think I got in touch. I was contacted today by School of Pharmacy.
Yep.
And 3 of the guys who go there want to do a substance abuse study on Auburn.
Sure.
Very brief. They just want to find out, what is there an issue in Auburn? Is there not an issue? I told them I would sit down with them. I'm going to sit down with them Thursday. I also told them they should talk to Eric Otteson of
The fire
the
department.
EMS
EMS, right.
and Mark Maas.
Yep.
I would think that those 2 would have a better grip on incidents related to alcohol abuse, drug abuse, stuff like that. So hopefully they'll produce a very terse, concise report that we can attach to. I envision using Ryan's report as a foundation.
Yep.
And if we can get them to do a substance abuse study this year, maybe next spring's class we can get a teen pregnancy,
Yeah.
maybe fall of next year we can get a bully report,
Yeah.
and we can just keep adding addendums to this report. I think it'll become a powerful tool using this one as our base.
Excellent.
And then we'll be able to launch programs based on what we find.
Sounds good. Well, it'll take you 2 minutes, but I guess we can handle that. Okay, we have a hearing, 7 Southbridge Street Court, Mary Ellen Fahey.
Yeah, I apologize. I have a new phone and I'm trying to shut it off.
That's all right. If it we won't worry if it goes off. That's okay. You reminded me to shut mine
Just
off.
reminded me to shut mine off.
So, if you want to have a seat at the table, please.
Oh, sure.
Okay. So I'd like to open this hearing. And first off, my name is Ray Gothi. I am the chairman of the Board of Health. Steve, if you want to introduce
I'm
yourself.
Steve Nordborg, Vice Chair.
And,
We've met. I'm Andy Pelletier,
Yeah.
Director of Public Health.
okay.
I'm Paula.
Oh yeah,
Cheers.
That's Paula. Okay, so we have this is we received a letter disputing the issuance of a fine of violation at 7 Southbridge Street Court, and this is why we're having the hearing. So, so let's see. We're going to start the evidentiary part of the hearing, and Andy.
On August 1st, I issued an order against 7 Southbridge Street Court. Grass was overgrown, apparent rodent infestation, and trash and debris. Also, the one of the doors was open. The bulkhead door was open.
Okay.
So, orders accumulation of debris, including actually, if I can put that to last. There were rodents observed in the structure, which I attribute to the overgrown grass. It was like a gopher or something.
Okay.
The bulkhead was open, so I went down the stairs to push on the door to see if the door was open. It was ajar a little bit. I wanted to make sure that the place was accessible before I cited it for being accessible, and it was. When I pushed open the door, something ran past me on the stairs. It wasn't pretty. I screamed at the top of my lungs.
Like a girl.
Yep.
Okay, we understand.
I gotta tell you, there were girls that are pretty darn tough, so I'm okay
That's
with
okay.
screaming like a girl. So I cited it for rodents and I cited it for debris and cleanup. Within days, the lawn was mowed around it. It was cut down around it, and Miss Fahey had requested an extension on the order to clean.
Okay.
The order to clean was accumulation of debris, including construction debris, broken lawn furniture, tires, several tarps, barrels, pool equipment, and other debris, as well as some containers of hazardous materials, which were pool chemicals. Right. I went back to the property. Sorry, you're looking for the...
Precinct 5?
They stole the selectmen's room.
Okay, thank you.
I went back to the property on August 26th, and though some had been done, the lawn had been cut, some of the debris was gone. It was not completely cleaned up. There was still lawn furniture strewn about like upside down, flipped over on the patio. There was still couches, debris, other stuff like that. So I issued the ticket for failure to clean up. I went to the property with Miss Fahey, and she had, after the fact, and I won't say after the fact, we observed that the couch was up against the house, and most of the debris, some of the debris was gone, some of the debris was just orderly. It was just organized. As of today, took these pictures today. This is a picture of the house. There is a lawnmower that Ms. Fahey declares is non-functional. Do you agree?
Yeah, somebody's picking that up
It's-
as scrap.
Again, this was, Ms. Fahey and I met last Monday, so this was a week ago. This is the pool equipment. The furniture is now stacked neatly against the house. The pool equipment is pushed up against the house. There's a couch sitting here with a collapsed clothesline on it.
What kind of couch? Like a
Like your
interior
living room
in the
couch.
living room couch?
Yeah, I got a close-up shot of that in a minute. This is the pool equipment. Again, as long as the chemicals are gone, this is in my opinion satisfactory. It's the back of the house. It's tucked in between the bulkhead and the extension of the house. Not really offensive to any of the neighbors, so that would not be a critical issue. This is the couch, the tarp that I cited specifically. I cited couch, demolition debris, and tarps that have been organized, but again, not cleaned up, not removed. The couch continues to sit out in the weather, continues to get wet. Close up of the couch, same shot.
That does promote harborage, correct?
Potentially, I would think mice would find that a very habitable place.
All right.
As the couch soaks up water, if it doesn't dry up, obviously insect infestation is potential. This is the side of the house, very much cleaned up. The couch used to sit right here,
Okay.
and there used to be a white cooler that was, I think, right in front of this opening. Working my way down the side, this is the white cooler. It's tucked in, barrel is upside down, so only these little puck marks are gonna breed mosquitoes. So very happy with the placement of the barrel. Unfortunately, the cooler continues to be open, harborage for, or breeding ground for mosquitoes should we get any rain. And then I just took a couple of shots of some of the brick. Again, kind of clean fill. I don't have much consternation about the brick, but it is construction debris still on site. My intent in issuing the fine was to get the property cleaned up. My goal is still to get the property cleaned up. Ms. Fahey has issued a request for a hearing to appeal this ticket based on the fact that she did make some progress on the property. So again, my goal is to get the property cleaned. It's not to be a revenue generator.
All right. Ms. Fahey, so what do you have to say?
I'm trying.
All right.
It's just me.
Okay.
Things are very heavy.
Have you contracted out with anybody to do any of the work or anything? You're doing it all yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. Right now we're just in evidentiary part. Is there anything else you want to say? I mean, just so we can have it on record.
No, my son lives there. I mean, like the lawn furniture, and he was sitting out in the lawn furniture, and I think they were sitting out on the couch too. So I mean, they were using that stuff, and the pool. Eventually, I'd like to get another pool. It's hard storing all that stuff with no outside. There's no shed. There's no garage.
Okay.
And I work a lot, so there's only like tomorrow I have it off, so I'll probably go over there and do some more work.
Okay. Any other evidence to be stated?
Do not.
All right. So, Steve, do you have a motion to close the evidentiary part of the hearing?
So couple of questions for Andy on this. The initial complaint was on or before 8/1?
Yeah, that's after the evidentiary. We can go into questions
Okay,
after.
okay.
We have to
So
finish the evidentiary part first, and then we can go into that.
I've always been confused on that.
Well, no, when I read up on it, you give your statement, she gives her statement. We close the evidentiary, and then we start to ask questions.
All right, so
So-
motion to close the evidentiary
I second that motion. It does need to be a roll call vote. Steve, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ray votes aye, 2-0 to close the evidentiary. Now we are into question and answer. Steve, go right ahead.
So the initial complaint came in on July 31st.
I can tell you I don't know when the complaint came in. I did the inspection in response to a complaint on July 31st. So the complaint came in prior to July 31st, either July 31st or before. And I don't have the actual complaint with me. We do have record of it in the office, so.
Can you scroll down, please?
Tell me where.
I'm just going to see if you have. Do you set up with 7-day, 24-hour, anything like that? Upon completion of repairs.
Within the time stated above, so.
That's
The following violations have been deemed conditions which may endanger or impair. Yes, I did it in 2 steps. The following conditions are violations of the Massachusetts State
That's
Sanitary
10 days,
Code.
okay.
Must be corrected within 10 days. And then the rodents I thought were of critical concern,
Those are 24.
and
okay.
those were
No, I
must
just
be
wanted to- I
repaired
just-
within 24 hours.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was stated in the primary
And that
letter.
is per 831 of the code, I believe, or
Yep.
830 of the code.
And I think the others are 750s.
Well, 830 tells you the timelines you have to set for
Yeah, okay.
authorizing repairs. So
All
that
right,
is.
I just want to
in-
make sure they were in the letter.
Yep, that is in
So
conformance with
that's
830.
from 10 days from the receipt of letter. If it was sent out on the 31st, or actually August
I wrote
1st.
the letter on the 1st.
So you
and
figure
I
3
gave-
days.
When I write my orders, I always write prior to August 13th. So if I sent it out on the 2nd, it got there on the 3rd, or if I sent it out
On the 1st,
it
you got
there
down
on
the
the 3rd.
3rd, so 10 days from that. Okay.
And I might point out that today is more than 30 days later,
Yep.
so regardless of what time I put down, she's
No,
not
I
charged
understand
me.
that. I didn't know if you had a 10, a 14, a 21 day. I'm just looking to, and I know there was a request for a 7-day. That was on the 19th. 7-day. Right. Is that when it was? A request, a 1-week extension was granted on August 26th. The property was again inspected. Okay. I have a question here. I
The
don't know.
board offered her she requested an extension, we offered it until August 26th.
So what's this right here? What
That's
is it?
probably an old letter. The Board of Health is hereby issuing a
That's
fine in
August
the amount of
26th.
$50 for
Failure to comply with the.
June 11th. I was looking at a template,
Okay. So we didn't do that. All right.
so I failed to change this
Mhm.
date.
But you do have September 2nd here, so you have that date there. Requesting. Steve, do you have any more questions?
Ms. Fahey, what is your general intention of all the items? Lawn furniture, obviously, people have lawn furniture in the yard.
Right.
Sofas,
Huh?
most people don't keep
Well,
sofas in their
I
backyards.
know, young adults do, so I gotta tell him, somehow we gotta get rid of that. It's heavy. I could probably get it halfway to the road tomorrow.
And the other items, the broken clothesline.
Mm.
Your plans with that to dispose of it, or?
Yeah, I'll have to break it up and put it in the trash. To get like an axe or something.
Is your son, are you living there, or is
No,
this?
Adam lives
Are
there.
you looking for
Your son
precinct
lives
5?
Yeah.
They're meeting in the selectmen's room.
And,
I mean, he's a big kid, but he had like really bad shoulder surgery.
mhm,
The worst surgery you can have in your body, and I'm not gonna have him screw it up,
mhm.
you know, so.
Does he have roommates or does he live alone?
No, he lives there by himself.
Okay.
How long's that couch been out there?
I can
Well
only,
over-
I can
well
only
over
speak for the month.
A month since it's been to our attention.
What length of time are you looking at to have it all completed and cleaned up to the specifications that were given? Do you have a time frame? Have you decided anything?
No, I have tomorrow. I said we'll go over there tomorrow.
Reason I'm
It's
asking.
just the couch and that big piece of wood, right? Is what we're looking at.
We have the
Well, the cooler, if you can
Yeah.
get that.
cooler, a couch, the broken and busted clothesline,
Yeah.
and the inoperable lawnmower.
Okay, so lawnmower will be go for
Yeah.
scrap or something. Okay, because the reason I'm asking is, do you have town trash?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you can call, and I don't know what the fee is. Do you know what the fee is for large items?
Do not.
They-
They set the fees.
They set
They
the
set
fees.
the fees, they have
Okay.
to call Allied.
So if you get the number for Allied Waste, you can call them and set up a date, and then you can get that date to Andy saying, hey, they're going to pick it up on this day. That way we know you're working towards what he's asked.
Okay.
But you can call them, and then they'll give you, they'll say, oh, we're going to pick it up on Friday. Now you got a few days to get it to the curb. And that way we don't want to have it on the curb on Tuesday if it's not going to be picked up till the following Wednesday, because that's going to cause other issues. So we're looking to get it set up. The problem being the wood is considered construction debris, cannot go to the town trash. I do know that. That if it's cut up can be stacked and put to the side, I guess, but I don't know how that's
Can't be stacked with the intention of burning. It's treated.
always treated.
It's got paint on it.
Okay. I just don't know where to, but I know the couch can go to town. If the top is ripped, that can be wrapped up in a trash bag and put in the town dumpster also, in the town trash thing. So, all right. Any recommendations?
I will just restate that my goal is to get the property cleaned. It's not to revenue generate. So if the board feels that they can accomplish that goal, as far as the ticket itself, I'm not on either side.
Okay.
I issued the ticket with the intent to light a fire. Obviously, I don't issue tickets without intent to collect the ticket. But as far as the importance of the ticket, it's really to get the mess cleaned up. So, whatever the board wants to rule on that is okay with me, but it does not mean I won't issue another ticket if it fails to get cleaned up.
So I need another time and the money for the ticket. Go to get rid of the stuff.
So we get a rug to go to town with the. You never know, the dumpster company may pick up that wood too. You'd have to call them and see what you can do. I'm just spitballing here. I'd be willing to hold the ticket. Is that a possibility? Hold the ticket until we find out what exactly is going on. That's just my opinion. I would say, okay, if you call Allied tomorrow and they say we can be there next Tuesday to pick it up, and you have a list of what they'll take, and you get that to Andy, then that just fixed his whole question of what was going to be done. Because his goal, he said, was to clean the property, and if you can make all those things, I would say in the next 24 to 48 hours, if that works for the department, because they're the ones who have to chase everything. If you could make that phone call and find the date, and the date is, hopefully it's not 4 weeks away. We can't have it sitting out there that long. I would be amenable to getting rid of the ticket if you could get rid of that stuff in an appropriate amount of time. If that's not too confusing for you. Because I think I ran in a circle there for a little bit.
Yeah.
We also have a brief list of contractors who are licensed in Auburn to haul,
Okay.
and we can make that available to Ms. Fahey if she calls
Yeah, I
the
don't
office
know
tomorrow.
what the cost would be, but yeah, we do have some haulers that'll come out, and I'll tell you,
They'll clean up the whole
the
property.
private haulers may come out, and you don't have to move it to the curb. They may be able to come right out and meet you and pull it all out, pull it off the property. A lot of those guys will come in, take everything out for a small fee, and then they do with it what they do with it. So that's right now. That's kind of how I'm feeling. I don't want to. throw $50 on top of you, and then you have to still pay to get rid of that. So I'd like to see it gone. I know it's been a month now. We're over 30. We're over 30 days.
Yeah.
I know the lawn was cut. It looks like it's starting to grow again. So we're gonna have to make sure that it gets cut again, because that's just gonna continue growing until Andy goes by again and gets another complaint or something. Steve, any opinions?
It's definitely got to be moved. Again, there are some things that I can see. They're stored up against the house. They're normally outdoor things. As you said, there's no garage or outdoor shed. Some of the stuff obviously just doesn't belong there. I can see the harborage risk, especially with that couch. I would be willing to waive the fee on the ticket so long as, in good faith, you can show to Andy before the end of the week that you have been able to
Contract or?
contract with a hauler of any type to have those items removed.
I think it may be easier record keeping, if that's the opinion of the board, to cancel the ticket totally. Just
I think that's what he said. Mine was kind of holding it, but I think he
I
said
think it
to
would-
waive it.
if it's the board's opinion that the ticket can be dismissed, I would advise dismissing it. And it would be, record keeping wise, it would probably be easy to issue another ticket in the future, rather than try to keep this one floating beyond its lifespan.
Beyond its 21 days.
Yep. Okay.
So, if that's the will of the
We're,
board.
we're up to what, 14 already on it?
Yeah. So,
It was issued on the 26th and today's the 9th.
so yeah, you're at 15 because there's 31 days.
Yep.
Okay. Do you have a motion? And how you want to word it?
Do you have any other comments, thoughts?
No.
Does it seem reasonable what we're considering? Do you foresee any problems?
I just hope my back doesn't go out other than
Oh.
that.
I would be hard pressed to want to move that couch myself
Yeah,
if it was in my yard.
yeah.
And I would have to make some calls to get some people there to help.
Yeah.
Hopefully $50 saved plus a little bit more. This isn't
Yeah.
a lot of debris. I don't know what one of our haulers would call,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I have called every one of our haulers, and I have a separate list of people who are willing to clean yards.
Yeah.
And some seem to work pretty reasonably, so we can
Right.
give her the complete list, and I can even send her the picture if she wants to ask people how much to remove this stuff.
So I'll make a motion to
Just
vacate the ticket with a reinspection before the end of the week. And Andy, that reinspection could either be by a phone call from the property owner that
Can
these
I-
matters, or what?
Can I recommend the suggestion? Because Ms. Fahey has indicated she works constantly before Monday, 7 days. Only reason it'll give her the weekend to work on it. If that's
7 days.
not amenable.
7 days. So reinspection by next Monday, unless you've heard otherwise from her that
Yep.
she has made arrangements.
Okay.
Second for discussion. Are we going to require a contract or anything sent to you, or a phone call saying that, or is,
It's possible that Ms. Fahey is going to do it herself.
okay,
She might get a group of friends together, have some
Okay.
tea, and do it.
And
So I
that's-
wouldn't say a
that's-
contract is
Okay,
That's why
required.
my motion to vacate it with the
Yep.
reinspection within 7 days
okay,
will allow Andy that flexibility to, work with Ms. Fahey to
Also,
see this through.
if Ms. Fahey can get a hold of the truck, we also have residential passes to Casella. So she can bring it to Casella herself for probably, I think their minimum tipping fee is $65.
That
So
would get
this
rid
would
of
be
it.
one truckload, I would think. So
all right. So we have a motion, it has been seconded with discussion. Roll call vote. Steve, how do you vote?
Vote aye.
I vote aye. So the ticket has been vacated, so there's no $50 ticket. but we more or less gave you an extension of 7 days to figure it all out and get it taken care of. Any other questions for us?
No, that's it.
All right, thank you very much for
All right,
coming.
Thank you.
Mary Ellen, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
I
If
need
you run into any problems, give Andy a call. He may be able to get you down the right road.
I just need a motion to close the hearing.
Motion to close?
Second the motion. How do you vote?
Aye?
Aye. The hearing is now closed.
Very cool.
All right,
This time.
we're back in programs and objectives once you're all set.
I think we can move along here.
Yep.
All right, prescription take-back program. I bring your attention.
To the green elephant in the room.
We bought the green
The
elephant.
green elephant.
That's awesome.
A secure take-back box. You cannot access it when it's open. You can't access the contents. This has a double lock capability, which the police asked for. They wanted one lock for the Board of Health to have a key, one
So
lock
nobody goes
for,
in alone.
for the police department to have a key, and it will require both to be in attendance in order to open it.
Yep.
Product drops into a very simple box. We transfer this to probably a cardboard box, and the police and a representative of the Board of Health take it directly to Wheelabrator.
And they watch it go in the and get burned.
We observe it go into the incinerator.
Do we toss the liner box to the incinerator, or does it?
We'll probably transfer from that. Oh, actually, yeah, we may line it with a plastic bag, and that'll go in the incinerator.
Okay.
That way you don't move anything, so you don't want anything spilling into a cardboard box. If you
Yeah.
dump this way, the bag's there. You put the cover on, bring it to the thing, take the cover off, and they take the bag and throw it right in.
Double bag it.
Yep.
We have a waiver for disposal of a hazardous material from DEP. They've granted us a waiver. I forwarded that waiver to Wheelabrator. I've spoken to Wheelabrator. As a customer of Wheelabrator, this is a service they allow for us for free, as long as we work on their schedule. Meaning, if we're ready to dump this, we gotta call them and make sure that they're not.
Yeah. There's something
Inundated
going
with
on.
work at the
Yeah,
moment.
exactly.
Spoke to Mark Master of the police. General attitude is let's get it in place and get it up and running. Do a soft opening while we got everything, and
See
plan
how it
on
runs.
hard opening later. I will contact Miss Jacob. Actually, I have a meeting with Miss Jacobson tomorrow, so I will talk to her at the meeting and get her opinions on how we want to launch it.
Yep.
I truly want to involve, obviously, the chamber, obviously representatives of the police. Would love to have at least a board member there to say, hey, this is something we accomplished. In addition to what's on it, we will probably put Board of Health sticker, Town of Auburn sticker, just so some of the extra money, we'll purchase several Board of Health stickers so that we can at least claim responsibility for some of these projects that we're doing. All right. Beyond that, I believe we have $305 left that we can use to advertise. Obviously, advertising on the box isn't going to help because people don't normally go to the police station.
Yep.
So, with the launch, we'll try to invite the newspaper, the local paper, and we'll also get a picture of the launch. Once we do the launch, we'll get a picture of that. We'll invite the cable to the launch so they can film a short, if anybody feels speakable that day. And hopefully we can run that a few times on the cable network. We have the AM radio, and we'll make again probably the little cards available within town hall.
Will Chris put it on the website for us?
Chris will put it on.
Put it on the TV station.
We'll
I mean,
have-
most likely.
Yeah, they'll put it on the.
Yeah.
I'll
Like
have
you know how we
Kathy-
have they put the sheet up for us or something.
I'll have Kathy put it on the website too.
And
So we'll
Chris
get it on the
may
website.
Chris may come down and do a little bit of the videotaping like you did for the
Yep.
when we did the vote and back.
Oh, yep. Yeah, so we'll try to get local access TV, local access radio, the web page, some random flyers at critical locations, and hopefully get a newspaper story out of it too.
Yeah, because you could put those flyers like you said. You're gonna put them on the back of those cards at the at the box at CVS. It's not bad to have something like that in some of the doctor's offices. And I don't know what they do. People take the prescriptions home.
My problem with putting them at the doctor's office, it's probably a good place to put them, But it seems to me that if they write prescriptions, if they give you needles, they really should take a responsibility on themselves to
Well,
take it
we're not
back.
talking needles. We're talking about.
Talking, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I go to the emergency room. They write me thing. I'm not gonna run back to the emergency room, wait in line to hand them back prescription drugs. You know what I mean? So I just didn't know. We'll just spitballing some ideas of where we can put them. Because some people call their doctor's office and say, "I have leftovers. I'm not going to use them. What do I do with them?"
I think I would like to encourage the doctors to say, you know something, we have to get rid of prescriptions once in a while. We can throw yours in with ours.
Yeah.
They write them.
Yeah.
I got this problem with DEP telling us we can't throw it in the trash, but they don't tell us what you can do with it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they say you can't throw sharps in the trash, you can't throw prescriptions in the trash. But their opportunity to write a bill or write into that bill, if you sell it, you got to take it back.
Yeah.
They blow that opportunity off and they dump it on boards of health to handle these things.
That's like the oils going back to places now. They take it.
Oil goes back to where you bought it as long as you put it in original containers. Why can't prescriptions? Why can't sharps? Why can't paint? You know,
Yeah.
it's just it works with oil.
I mean, I think at least it would make sense to send a letter to the physicians practicing in town. Hey, by the way,
We do have this
the Board of
program.
Health has this service available for your patients. So that if,
Carefully worded to say, if you are not handling this for your patients, we will.
as a reason, and again, just another way of getting
Yep.
information out there.
Okay. Yeah, we'll try to compile a list of the doctors in town, and we'll send that out.
All right. Anything else left on the prescription take back?
I think we got like half a foot left in the door. Other than that, we're out the door and running.
Good.
I got one phone call today from a gentleman who watched our meeting about prescription take back and was wondering when it was going to be launched.
I am hoping to have that in place
I'll tell
probably
you
by
that.
the end of October.
I'll tell you, for the first month we have it in there, people are gonna be emptying their cabinets of all the old stuff, and you're gonna see it.
He's really looking forward to
Well,
it.
perhaps we have our volunteer for our first honor.
Yeah, exactly.
Resident to
Honorary
dump.
dump.
He may not want to be on TV. Okay, food code fees. I know you put for general discussion.
I think we're ready to have a hearing. I want to have one meeting before the hearing just to discuss these fees, to touch on anything else we're nervous about on the code. So, I think we're at the point where we have to schedule a hearing to hear feedback from the townspeople, from the business people on the regs we wrote.
Yep.
And we'll have one more meeting also to discuss these fees. Because I mean, I put a lot of work into this with other boards of health and stuff, but it may not be perfect. Well, it won't be perfect. So we'll have to look at them, review them, see what the logic was behind them, see if there's better logic.
Okay.
So, and I just handed them to you, so I realize you're gonna.
Need time to go through them.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
what I would ask is that we schedule a hearing, so I can start advertising a hearing. I have to advertise a hearing. I think it's 2 weeks before. I'll have to look into 111, 131. I think it's 2 weeks before I have to start advertising. So today's middle of September, September 9th.
Can we look at the first meeting in November?
First meeting in November.
I mean, that will give us 2 to 3 more meetings to
Yeah.
make sure we have everything.
Yep. First meeting in November will be. Oh, there's a lot of pages in
The
October,
11th? No, we can't do that. It's a holiday.
and we don't want to get too close to Thanksgiving.
So then
I mean, there's nothing that says we can't schedule a meeting the first week of November. Go the first week of November and plan on tabling the second meeting, which will probably be the week of Thanksgiving. And then, if the board doesn't vote on the regulations at that meeting, they can table the vote until December. When do we send out renewals?
We send out renewals at the end of October.
Yeah, really
We might want to push the second meeting in October. We can delay our renewals
Well, that's what I was thinking, better the second week in October.
If we go the second meeting in October, that'll give us one meeting, actually,
2 meetings.
2 meetings.
To finalize. So
to
let's do the
discuss and
21st.
finalize.
And send the renewals out in November.
Okay, 21st of October. What is the 21st of October?
It's Monday.
It's a Monday.
Yeah. Is there a holiday in October?
Yes, the 14th, which
14th.
is the day that it's a holiday, we
Okay.
can't meet.
All right, I have intention of being out
Because,
the 14th to the 20th,
alright,
so the 21st actually works. Next question, because we want to be accessible to the public that day, we're going to have a hearing. Do you want to schedule the meeting for 6 and the hearing for 7? Oh, back up. Do we want to have it on a Monday? It would be first question. If we have it on a Monday and it coincides with selectmen's, we can't hold the hearing in the selectmen's meeting.
Mm-hmm.
one of the selectmen, second and fourth, or first and third?
Second and fourth, they with us, they're the same day as us.
Well, the 21st isn't the,
It'd be the
it'd
3rd.
be the 3rd. So it should be off schedule for them.
Okay,
And that's unless they move theirs from the 14th to the 21st.
They
So
just
actually, the
might do that
21st
too.
is the 3rd. Yeah,
so
third
we,
Monday.
so we could do the third Monday.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if the selectmen move
Usually
theirs,
when they move theirs, they move it one day.
oh,
have
they
it on
move to Tuesday instead? Okay,
Right?
Usually.
usually. Except this one time that we need the room.
Well, I think we can tentatively plan it. It's not
Yeah.
being published
Yeah,
or anything.
exactly.
So Andy, if you can sort of
We'll work
follow
on
up
it.
with the appropriate people who.
Okay. My recommendation
Schedule the
would be
rooms.
to have the meeting at 6 and open the hearing at 7 to allow people.
Sure. Sure.
So,
And let's just make sure that we will not be conflicting with the selectmen's
Yep.
meeting.
and the hearing is gonna be, it's gonna actually be 2 hearings.
Mm-hmm.
One hearing on the new code and one hearing on the new fees.
If you can get back to me and let me know a confirmation of that day
Yep,
as soon as you are able to get that information.
it will be
My
soon.
work schedule is up 6 weeks in advance, so.
It will be soon because I have to start advertising.
Yeah.
What we are gonna do is, law requires us to post it in the newspaper
Mm-hmm.
twice. So we'll be posting it in the newspaper. We are also going to send a letter
Mhm.
to every food establishment in town.
Mhm.
Very brief, 1-paragraph letter. The Board of Health is scheduling a hearing on such and such a date to talk about
Coding, or new code.
adopting the code and adopting a new set of fees. Copies can be gotten at the Board of Health office.
Yep.
So
Works.
that way we'll make it available to them. Nobody can say we didn't tell them it was going on,
Yep.
because there's some stuff that will affect some of them
Okay.
officers.
Okay, household hazardous waste day.
Just, we have our, town meeting is open.
Mhm.
So I guess first question to the board is, do we want to have a hazardous waste day next year? We've had one every other year since 2002.
Yep.
Somehow we found financing. I am proposing an article on town meeting to see if they'll fund $20,000. I think we have like $9,000.
Mhm.
So another 20,000 will give us a robust 30,000. Based on last year's, it's a margin of error. I mean a margin of safety of about 20%.
Yep.
So we'll, if the board wants to have a hazardous waste day next spring, we'll put it on the agenda for the.
I've been involved in the last 2 and they were amazing, and we
We do get a lot of calls.
get a lot of calls, get a lot of people afterwards saying what a great idea. People that day are, I'm like, sorry for the wait. They're like, you kidding? I can't get rid of this stuff anywhere else. So they're happy about it. So because we still haven't worked out that whole deal with Sutton, I know we're trying to, that just kind of didn't do much because I think the distance and was an issue.
It's the distance also, and I'll take the blame on my shoulders. It's getting everything else done that I've been trying to get
Yep.
done.
Mm.
Is-
I think
I
in-
haven't been able to just coordinate it.
I think it'd be a good idea to set one, and then maybe in the spring, if things start smoothing out a little bit, then we can go to everything else. You know,
I-
I mean, then you can work on that and give yourself some time.
I believe we do have NEDT on our webpage
Yep.
as a alternative way to get rid of some stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
They're always there, they're always giving Auburn
Wasn't he supposed to like
municipal.
track things for us if people from Auburn went? Did he say he was going to do that for us?
I'll give him a call, Mr. Gaffney is very affable to whatever we
Yeah.
ask, so.
Oh, cause yeah, they're hoping to pick up the town, which is I'd like to
Mm-hmm.
in the future do. But I think right now, since we haven't done a lot with it, people are used to coming. I'd like to continue with the Household Hazardous Waste Day.
I'll, I believe he is also getting into the business of conducting these events,
Mm-hmm.
so I'll see if he wants to put in a bid for ours.
Okay.
I know we weren't ecstatic about our contractor last year.
Yeah, we had some difficulties.
He failed to cover a catch basin and
Yeah.
he spilled oil. That was,
That was not fun.
so that's going out to bid again if we want to move forward with the hazardous waste day. This is the article that I'll put on the town meeting agenda if the board is good with this.
Yep.
20,000, again, I think we've been right around the $22,000 mark.
Yeah.
So this allows us a little bit of a margin of error.
Yep.
I will write the water district, see if they want to come and join us and help us out. And I'll write the sewer district and see if they want to come and help us out.
Okay.
So I will put this on, I will submit this tomorrow.
All right. Next
When are you
item.
writing to sewer and water?
Huh?
When are you going to write?
I will, after we get approval. Reason being, if we don't get the approval from town meeting, I don't know if we can hold the event. So,
I'm just thinking of giving them a heads up. We're putting this warrant on. They're planning their budget. If we're looking to, give them a heads up. Even if it's not a formal letter, just,
okay.
hey, so-and-so, give them a heads up.
I think I think Concom also has a fund that has to be part of their, this is just my understanding, and if I'm wrong, forgive me, but part of their submittal fees go into an account. It's a revolving account that they use to benefit the wetlands, and I think I'll drop a letter to them too to see if they're willing to help.
Sure.
Yeah,
to help
'cause
support
we're
this.
keeping everything out of the wetlands.
Right.
you know.
I think this would
Yeah.
this would have
Excellent.
qualified. So I'll do Concom, sewer, and water.
My favorite time of the year. Flu 2013, 2014.
In addition to having a hearing in October,
It's time to start.
it's time to start talking about flu. Right. We've got a request or a notice from DEP. There is extra vaccine available. It is specifically has to be used for uninsured, underinsured, age 60 or older. I went through all of our records from last year. We probably had 30 or 40 people who didn't have insurance or were underinsured. And of those 30 or 40, 2 of them were over 65. So I don't think this is something that's going to be beneficial to us.
Okay.
Not
I'm
for
going to put it
the
out there
two
just to let
doses.
you know that they were offering.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll be able to use it the way they want us to.
Yeah.
And we may end up having to reimburse them anyhow if we misuse it.
Yeah, exactly.
First, actually, our total order of vaccine came in
Okay.
out of temperature. So we shipped it all back. It was 80 degrees when it landed. So we shipped it all back, and we are waiting for it to come back. I've got a promise of the end of the month, but I'm not seeing product yet. Obviously, it's not the end of the month. So, tentatively, we would like to talk about a flu clinic in October. It's going to be a Saturday in October, and I'm thinking the first or second week. I will get in touch with Sanofi, find out where that flu vaccine is, and also we talked at the last meeting about an additional, what we're going to bring it up to 400. 250 more doses, right?
I thought,
Is it
yeah,
400 or
it
500?
was 450, I think you
Okay.
said they
We'll
were
check,
going to.
All right.
we'll check the minutes from the last.
Okay.
So you're looking at the 5th or the 12th?
Probably the 5th or the 12th.
That's the first 2 weeks in.
The 12th is,
This is a Tuesday,
October 12th, Saturday.
I have a Saturday.
Yeah,
it's a Saturday.
Yeah.
2013.
Yeah, you in the right year there, honey?
Okay.
October,
No.
Sorry.
October 12th is a Saturday and the 5th is a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
That's okay. I'm just teasing you.
I'm tired.
It's been a long day.
Yep,
So, tentatively the 5th or the 12th, so you have to look and see if there's anything going on at the high school. Make sure they don't have a day football game on either one of those days.
the 12th and the 19th.
Nordman Center?
The 12th and the 19th are on my vacation.
Alright, so you have to look, see if there's anything going on the 5th.
I'll talk to Dal. Let me talk to Dal and see if we think we can plan on in
Okay.
3 weeks and advertise it.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
If not, maybe we will push to the last in October.
Which would be the 26th, be the
Yeah.
same week as the hearing.
That's fine.
Okay.
It'll be after the hearing and
Okay. That's
the
fine.
regs will be either in place or under consideration at that
Mhm.
point. So we might push for the 26th. Later than I wanted to. I would have liked early October,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but
When are you doing the senior clinic?
got to talk to Dal about that. Dal runs the senior clinic.
Because that's usually a Thursday or Friday. So.
Dal runs the senior clinic.
Okay. Alright, anything else on flu?
She just gets along with people better than me.
No comment.
No, our revolving account, we're gonna take 2,500 out of it to cover the 250 doses.
Mm-hmm.
We have 8,100 in it, so we'll be around 7,800,
Okay.
7,600 that we can still utilize to get more vaccine later on if we feel energetic enough to do additional clinics. As I said last year, we were really successful doing a lot of small clinics.
Okay.
Darlene and I have been in discussion already. We want to get into the Auburn Mall between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I know Santa's sitting down there. Hopefully, one-stop shopping. Go sit on Santa's lap and come get a free shot. I think we can be really successful if we can. We ran 100 shots last year
Mm-hmm.
at the Auburn Mall in January.
Mm-hmm.
So during a passive time, we did pretty good. I think during a
Easier
huge
shopping
busy
time,
time.
sure.
And I'm not sure we're getting Auburn citizens with that, but the money is reimbursable through the insurances.
Mm-hmm.
And if these people are coming into Auburn,
We want them
I
protected.
want them protected because when they
Mhm.
come into Auburn next time, I don't want to catch something from them.
Yeah.
So I think we're serving Auburn by taking non-Auburn residents.
Mm-hmm.
So I would suggest that we have a public clinic, a senior clinic, a public clinic, and then shoot for a
Catch
a
all.
Christmas clinic.
Yep.
And that we do not put any restrictions on it.
Okay.
If they, no matter where they're from,
Mhm.
we'll invite them in.
Okay. Alright, mosquitoes, West Nile virus.
All right, recently, we've had a hit on West Nile in Shrewsbury.
Mm-hmm.
We have a hit in Millbury, but it was on the south border of Millbury.
Okay.
We continue to trap in Auburn. We continue to trap exhaustively in Auburn. We've got traps going all the time. No hits in Auburn yet. Not West Nile, not Triple E. I believe we had 2 cases of Triple E in Massachusetts in humans. One of them was fatal.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had 3 in horses. I've spoken to Tim Deschamps of Mosquito Control Project. Temperatures are coming down, mosquito activity is coming down. He's seeing a reduction in his trapping numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So, unless we get a spike in temperature again,
Mm-hmm.
we might. There's no real wood around here, but we
Mhm.
might escape the year without a hit for Triple E, or I mean for West Nile. Having said that, we know it's endemic. we've had it every single year, so it gives you a false sense of hope, but the reality is it is here. There's just nothing that would trigger us to react right now. I still encourage proper protection when you go outside. Use DEET when you go outside. Get rid of any standing water. Keep it fresh. You know, throw a swimming pool puck in your water feature. Just everything you can to keep the population down because we know it's here. Just treat it like it's part of our life now. All right.
All right.
The mosquito report, we are still in the, just came in today. And Tim collects his samples on Mondays and has them tested by Wednesday, so this is last week's information. We are still in the low risk for West Nile virus and in the, I'm sorry, we're in the, I'm getting old. We are in the low risk for West Nile virus. We are in the low risk for, the remote risk for Triple E.
Good to go.
I can make those reports available to you whenever you, if you want them, or you can just wait for my melodious voice to report them here.
I like the melodious voice. Saves a tree. Emergency planning, it says you have no updates,
I
so
have no
we can
updates.
clear that one. All right, now we get into new business. First thing was correspondence.
Yep.
And I asked to add a couple spots where I can talk about correspondences. All right. First things first. Juniper Farms.
Juniper Farms,
No food permit?
Darlene found Juniper Farms operating in town. Actually, the police found them. The police are keeping an eye out for ice cream vendors for us because of the new law that says they have to get fingerprinted with the police and have a background check with the police before they come to us for a permit. Police identified that Juniper Farms were running around the town. We wrote a letter to Juniper Farms, said, you gotta get permitted. Failed to get permitted, Darlene issued a ticket.
Okay.
I got a call last week from Juniper Farms. They said that they were done for the year, they would pay the ticket. And I said, I better see you in here next year for permitting. And they said, yes, we will definitely follow every rule and regulation next year. Last Friday, Darlene got an email from Officer Charlton, I believe. Juniper Farms is operating in the Old Cot Road area.
And this is
After they told
said
me that they were done for the season. So we're waiting for them to pay for the ticket, but I am going to ask the board to bring them in, ask them in for a hearing, and I will talk to Hennigan to see if we can refuse them the right to operate in our town next year. They've been made aware of it. They've been penalized for it.
They said they
told
weren't-
me they
they
weren't
weren't
going to do it,
and
and
then
they
they
were
were
found doing it again. We have a picture of them on Old Cot
Now,
Road.
what,
dated
isn't
Friday.
that a, now what's the, okay, just, the new law just came out, so I'm a little fuzzy on it.
Well, we've got two permits that they're, and that's what the new law is, that's not our jurisdiction.
Well, that's what I'm asking,
Right.
because now what will if the police found them operating in town, they didn't have their background check, they didn't have, is it a criminal offense?
I don't believe it's criminal. I'd have to find out from Andy, from
Okay.
Mark Mass,
Yep.
and I will check on that. But they are leaving it. The
So-
letter, the email that came into Darlene was they are leaving it up to us to
Okay.
enforce.
Okay, that's fine, as long as we have the enforcement powers,
I think because we hold the
permit.
right to permit.
It comes down to all this, everything was done through the police department, the new background checks, the fingerprinting, I think you're supposed to have a photo ID with whoever's working on the truck is supposed to have a photo ID with them. So I didn't know if it would be like a ticket, like operating your vehicle without a license. Is it the same thing, operating, because it's not following the law that was set up, so I didn't know if they had
Isn't
any.
that part of the new ice cream vendor regulations?
That's what I'm
that
talking
we-
about. That we do
Right.
it or they do it.
I think the regulations, and I'll review them, but I think the regulations fall under the Board of Health with a police requirement
Okay.
in that.
Okay.
I'll review how it's written.
And talk
But
to
I think the
Mark.
responsibility to make sure that happens is Board of Health.
And I don't know if Mark has time, but if we do bring them in for a hearing, I'd like a presence from the police
We'll try
department.
to get Officer Charlton here as
Yeah.
the witness.
Witness, and and then they can, more or less solidify the reason behind the law. Because if the police have to do work on it, and they're the ones making sure there's fingerprints, they're the ones make sure the background checks are done, which I know that Corey, Sories, and all that, and they got to be
Yep.
paid for, but still, it's like you're not just not getting a permit from us, you're not following the law. That has to deal with the police department, and I think, they're going to look at us and be like, oh, okay, it's the Board of Health, so we don't do, but the police department could say, well, there's aspects to this, that there's reasons behind all this.
I have to say that general acceptance of our laws compared to police laws is more laissez-faire, passe.
Mhm.
But the laws are written in such a way that the Board of Health has as much impact as we can fine, we can ticket, we can bring them under civil process, we can bring them under criminal process, and we can have people arrested. So we have at least equal authority in different areas, obviously. But
Well, I just want to show Juniper Hill or anybody else who doesn't follow the regulations that we're working together. It's not like
yep,
the police department's going to see him at a park and say, just get out of here quick before the Board of Health finds you. We're working together and making sure our kids are safe in the community, and that's what this whole thing was all about.
yeah, I'll contact Officer Charlton, see if he'll be available for the.
Yeah, find out if we can get them in front. Yeah, I would like to see them in front of us. How do you feel about that?
What was the date of the last
The last sighting
sighting in
was,
town?
it was Friday. Darlene forwarded it to me. I picked it up today. I had Friday off.
September 6th?
6. And I talked to them.
And what part of town was it? We're not talking.
Old Cart.
Oh,
I
okay.
believe it was Old Cart they were seen on.
So it's not like it was a bordering town where they may have just like slipped around the corner.
Yeah, like
This
like
was
coming
well
on
No,
to
this
like
truck
coming.
was
It's right
stopped.
off of
Yeah.
Oxford Street.
He's got a picture of
north.
this truck stopped.
Right off of Oxford Street North in the center of
Yeah,
town.
Yeah,
it's not like they were just, yeah.
Or they were
They were
kind
well within the
Yeah,
town.
it's not like they pulled out of Franklin Field on the other side of Auburn and said, "Oh, I thought I was still in Worcester or something." You know what I mean? Because Franklin Field is only not even a quarter mile from the town line. So, but yeah, definitely.
Or on Eaton Street, right off
Oh,
of
yeah,
Worcester,
exactly.
It's like, oh, we were in Auburn now, I'm sorry,
yeah. Oh, we
Yeah.
can't sell to you. we got to turn around.
But
But
it was well within the town.
yeah,
so-
they knew they were in Auburn.
Yeah.
Is what it comes down
Yeah.
to.
So let me do some research to find out if we can. I know that we can't blackball, and that wouldn't be my intent. If somebody's got a state license, they have a right to operate, but these people don't have an Auburn license.
No, they don't have the sticker that says.
Right.
Well, you ordered him to cease and desist operating in town.
And then they came in anyways.
Correct. After they told me they were done.
Oh, we're done for the season.
Despite whatever they said,
Yeah.
that's not on paper, but what happens if they fail to cease and desist?
We can bring any part of the law down on them,
Yeah.
which is also, I believe the Federal Food Code allows us to revoke, deny, suspend permits.
Mhm.
So I
So-
believe the law allows us to deny.
Deny. I know. I've seen that in the.
So
Does the state permit them in any way?
they permit their facility where they make the ice cream,
Mhm.
but they don't permit the trucks. Now, we had an engineer who was a problem engineer, and we looked into, can we tell him he can't work in town? And the answer was no, we can put additional restrictions on him, we can babysit him,
Mm.
but as long as his state license is active,
Mhm.
we can't say you can't work in Auburn.
Mhm.
So, but because this is a local license, we don't license engineers who design septic systems.
Mm.
Because this is a local license, I think we can deny it.
Mm.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
All right. And the other question I had, I was a little confused with the Auburn Water and Mass DOT.
Auburn Water District, Mass DOT is doing a project up on the highway.
Okay.
They're doing some drainage
Mhm.
that may potentially direct some of the stormwater runoff down the levees of the highway, and 3 of our most productive wells sit right at the bottom of the hill here, right at the bottom of the levee of the highway. Ken wrote that letter. Ken, the commissioner of the water district, wrote that letter to DOT, and he may be looking for Board of Health support
Mhm.
further on. So I wanted to make that letter available to you so you knew their stance on it.
Yeah.
I have a much more robust letter from him. It's about 8 pages long.
Yeah.
And if he looks for further support from the Board of Health, I'll make that available to you.
Okay.
Unless you want to read it now, it's long, boring, full of regulation.
Yeah.
But he may come to the board looking for support for his stance. So I wanted to make the board aware that it's out there. It's definitely a concern, especially with the West Street offline.
Yep.
West Street's offline because of the previous arsenic. They're trying some innovative technology to reduce the arsenic in that well, but it's offline right now, so we're already at low capacity. If those 3 wells get hit,
And then where it's, yeah.
and with the number of truck flip overs we've had in the last month, I don't want to see the stormwater of the highway running into that well pit.
Okay, that's what, I mean, I read it and I was just kind of a little confused because I was like, how is this going to affect us? So, all right. Those are my questions
No,
on.
protecting the water quality in town is certainly a major priority. We're very,
The health assessment that Ryan did, priority on the health assessment was traffic in town, development in town, and the town's water. The 3 screaming obvious concerns in the town water. So
All right, well, good. So if you can just look into those and get us, I have no issue. I don't think the board does. Like Steve said, water is a huge concern, so I have no problem
the water
supporting.
district would have my complete
Yeah,
support
definitely.
in protecting those wellheads.
And since you have 2 out of 3 board members here, I think the board is totally behind them on that. So, all right. Any concerns?
just to update you on the 2 cases we have in court, 67 Hampton Street, we went to appoint a receiver to that on Wednesday of this past week. The owner showed up and asked the judge to consider his receiver. We told the judge that we had already gone through the review process on our receiver. We were comfortable with our receiver. We were ready to move forward, but obviously we would bow to the breeze in the court if the court chose to go that route. Court gave a continuance on it,
Okay.
encouraging us to work with the owner to make it happen with his receiver. After court, we talked to him briefly, and he indicated that he may just quit claim the property over to the lady who's supposed to be his receiver. What that would do is essentially change ownership from him to her, and all of the burden that was on him will now be on her.
Okay.
But I think she is in a financially better state to make the repairs.
Okay.
So we will see how that one rolls out. The other one we had in court was 34 Mill Street. We got, it was a strange one. We brought it into court. We served the lawyer, and the day before court, we got a call from the lawyer that he may not actually be representing the owner at 34 Mill Street anymore. We did not serve the owner because he had legal representation at the time. So the courts asked us to continue it a week and get legal service on the owner.
Okay.
So, and that one, I believe the work is done. I'm not positive. I think the work is done.
That's the one we've been working for 2 years on, 3 years on.
We just need the support paperwork.
Yeah.
We need a rider on the deed. We need some sign-offs from the plumbing inspector, electrical inspector. There's just some paperwork that's missing, I think. Obviously without them inspections, I don't know. But the tight tank's in place. I believe it's hooked up. The well is in the ground. I don't know if it's hooked up to the building yet though.
Okay.
So that one will go before the courts next Wednesday. Hopefully we will have legal service by then.
Okay. I think this next one can be pulled off because I thought they pulled out. Proposed
They did.
Millbury Category 2
They
gaming
pulled out?
facility.
Okay.
They
I
pulled
wasn't
out.
aware
Yeah, I
of
think yesterday or the day before. I
Yeah,
saw it on the
it was-
news.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They
That's
thanked
what I meant to
Millbury
tell
for all
you.
their help, but they didn't think it was going to be viable. The town, like,
Yeah.
a lot of the townspeople were against it.
Yeah, they pulled out.
They pulled out. So,
Okay.
so how can when we ask for minusing or adding things? You didn't pull that one on.
Well, notice Ray didn't either, I just want to point that out.
It's just
Well,
sort of
you
named
know, he's
generically
the
under
chairperson.
correspondence, so.
You'd think the leader of the group would come up with that.
No, it's not, it's item C.
I
Yes.
see under
Blind
director's
leading,
issue.
blind leading the
Okay.
blind.
Obviously, right on the Auburn border, that would have
Yeah, it
warranted.
would. Yeah, definitely.
If there were comments by the board, it would have warranted them.
Animal issues, no update.
No updates.
All right, solid waste. Anything going on with the solid waste committee?
Darlene, Amy, and I have a meeting with another trash reduction group
Mm-hmm.
to see if they can institute a program in Auburn to encourage reusable bags at grocery stores rather than those plastic bags.
Okay.
And that is going down next. Actually, that might be going down. Yes, this Wednesday.
Okay.
So I'll be able to let you know what's going on with that. I think it's some sort of app that allows so many pennies to go to a charity of the town's choice for every bag that they avoid using.
Okay.
So, but we'll learn more about that Wednesday before I go to court.
Have any numbers for us today?
Do not. Darlene took the day off. I know she's been working. We got the veterans event coming in. We had the Walk of
Relay.
Relay for Life
Yep.
that we just finished. Very successful event. Everybody permitted. It just went well. Good cooperation between the town. The mall's throwing a couple of. It's just all of these temporary events are just
The
killing us.
fall. We always get hammered in the fall.
I am
Pop
looking-
Warner came in.
Yep.
I am looking at next week and hoping that I can jump in there with Darlene and try to knock out a few of the grocery stores, get the big dogs down,
Okay.
and then she should have a better, easier time getting the small ones going.
I know you mentioned Pop Warner. Did they require their own permit this year? I know in the past we did. Okay.
Pop Warner
So they work
and
under their own. And
the
high
boosters
school-
share share the
building.
facility, but they don't share a PIC.
Yep.
They don't share a person in charge,
Okay.
certified person.
Yep.
So they get separate permits.
Good. Good. Okay. I know we worked on that last year for them. So, how are nuisance complaints coming?
Again, it's small things. It's trash cleanups. It's abandoned properties. We're not getting a lot of my house is a shambles type of thing.
Okay.
We are moving forward. Good production on the vacants. Feel that we've attacked a lot of them.
Okay.
And hopefully next meeting or the meeting after, not the meeting after, but hopefully before December we'll be able to give you a good update on where we've come with those and how we're going to move forward from there.
Excellent.
New establishments, we've got Tutti Frutti up and running.
Yeah.
We're working closely with them there. New food establishment, we got to walk them through a whole lot of stuff in order to get them right. Hopefully we'll get them right, and nothing that's going to kill anybody right now.
They have to send their things out to the lab. Are they? That's that kind.
They're a frozen dessert manufacturer,
Okay.
so they have to test their product. Thing is, they've got 16, I believe they have 8 machines,
2 in a machine.
2 in a machine, plus a twist.
Okay.
So,
They should be sending 8 tests then, right?
no, because the machines have individual wells.
Oh, you want to twist it. Oh, all right.
So you have a
okay.
chocolate, you have a vanilla, you have a chocolate vanilla twist. So do you test the chocolate? Do you test the vanilla? Do you test the twist? What we are doing with them, and we work closely with the state on this, is we're testing all of the twists because the assumption is the twists come from
50-50.
50-50.
Oliver twist?
Oliver Twist
Yeah.
and the Apple Dodger.
Yeah.
So we're doing all of the twists.
Thank you.
That will reasonably catch contamination in either side. Because we're doing the twist, we're only allowing them 25,000 plate and I think 5 on the E. coli, on the coliform. Because if the contamination came
50%
from
of the
half of it, then we have to double that.
Okay.
So, in addition to the 8 twists, we're also randomly doing 4
Okay.
of the others, and that'll be rotating.
All right.
So that way, if the contamination is actually in the nozzles, hopefully we'll be able to catch it every 3rd month.
Okay.
It was quite a challenge to balance economics with public health,
Okay.
but I think we've successfully caught everything.
And anything on now the subway opened up on Auburn Street, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
And nothing else in town?
No, we got a few strange products that we're calling the state about.
Okay.
An energy powder that one of the gyms is selling under their own name.
Okay.
And the state seems to think that they don't have jurisdiction over that, and I'm like, yeah, put it in your mouth, but you probably got jurisdiction over it. But we're working with the state on that one. Mostly for source. We're not positive where it came from. It just says the name of the gym inside. So we have to define the source and see if the source is appropriate.
Okay. All right then. Communicable disease.
I
any
did not
major-
run a report today.
Okay.
Did we get anything from Cheryl?
No,
Okay, so that's done. Next meeting is scheduled for Monday, September 26th, 2013 at 6 p.m. Does that work for everybody?
Definitely works, and I think because of the, I think we don't want to table it, even if all we do is
No,
discuss.
because we have 2 or
The
3
regulation.
things coming up in
23rd, right? You said
26.
26th.
September 26th?
That's what it says on here. Is
That's a
that
Thursday.
No.
I believe it's Monday the 23rd.
you are correct. I have Monday the 23rd also.
Okay.
That works better.
What
Thank you.
calendar was I looking at?
Probably the Chinese calendar.
Well, August 26th was a Monday.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was looking at.
Yep.
Turn the page.
Okay, so specifically on that meeting,
Mm-hmm.
fee schedule,
Yep.
food code, and flu. I'll put those as specific agenda items.
Okay.
And what was I supposed to look at for you, Steve?
Well, we want to try and see if we're going to get them in for a hearing for Juniper.
Juniper.
I don't know when you're looking for that for Juniper. And then, yeah, there was something else that you asked them to.
Hazardous waste day.
Hazardous waste.
I wanted them to
Send a
verif-
letter out.
Well, I wanted them just to touch base with the department heads,
Mm-hmm.
just to give them a heads up, FYI. But
Yep.
no, more specifically, the day of the hearing in October, I wanted you to make sure that that room would be available
Yep,
so that I can make adjustments at my work.
I will have that. Okay, so Board of Health is going to be-
And if you don't know for 3 weeks, you don't know for 3 weeks. But if you find out tomorrow, if you can just shoot me an email tomorrow.
Yep. Hearings.
Mm-hmm. So,
I'll try to keep it a concise meeting,
Mm-hmm.
except that I will try to get Juniper Pounds in.
anything else we need to cover?
I feel not.
I will take a motion to adjourn.
Oh, wait, on
Oh,
this
what?
thing, we have
Oh.
scheduled October meetings, 14th and 28th.
I think we
changed
we
that.
just changed to the 21st,
We just changed that to the 21st.
right? It was the 21st. That was a Monday. I gotta check it. I believe it was.
It is Monday.
14th is a holiday.
21st would be
The 3rd.
The
that,
hearing.
That was that's what we had written down. That was going to be our hearing.
right.
And
If we need it, we'll, at the next meeting, we'll determine if we need the meeting.
the prior meeting.
If we need the prior meeting, we'll do it on the 3rd,
Okay.
What third?
the 3rd of October. Does that work?
Thursday the 3rd?
No. Oh, wait, I'm still
Or
working on Paula's
October
calendar.
7th?
I'm still working off Paula's calendar.
Yeah, it would be the
The
7th.
Mm-hmm.
That's if we need it.
Okay.
If we need it, and we'll know that at the end of
Mhm.
September's meeting.
Very good.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second the motion. Good evening. Good night. Goodbye.